go?
I'll start with you, James.
Okay.
What's been your experience of any discrimination or race-related issues in the UK?
Well, I grew up in. I've lived in England all my life, and I originally started out in London, where there's it's really, really diverse. There's lots of mixed cultures, quite a lot of black people there. I lived in quite a lot, a big, heavily black area. So, I didn't really experience racism. My first experience of racism was when I was actually outside of London and moved to Hampshire, where back then there was not that many black people. So, naturally, there was I was the only one in the class. So, I used to get quite a lot of racism heavily. But then it kind of sort of started to die away once I got a bit older and started to defend myself a little bit more.
So do you think it was malicious, or was it out of more like a curiosity because maybe they weren't familiar with other races?
I think it was just kids really when you're younger, you kind of get a bit.
Kids are cruel.
Kids are cruel. It's like if you're fat as well. Kids will.
There's no holds barred.
Kids will make fun. No holds barred.
And I know you grew up in Bradford.
Yeah.
So you might have experienced.
For people who don't know, Bradford is the highest Muslim population city in the UK.
Forgive my viewers that are watching who are from South. Joe is heavily northern, and I do excuse his northern accent.
Yeah, so excuse my northern accent. Yeah, but I was brought up in it's a very rough city, Bradford. One of the highest crime rates in the north. So it's just generally quite a rough area anyway. In my school, it was probably about 33% Pakistani. And then there was many different cultures and stuff, but they just they were quite a segregated community. And when I got to kind of age of 15, I had a little rebellious stage where I got in a lot of fights with different people and stuff. And when I got in fights with other Pakistani guys, well, the first time it happened, there was a guy in the younger year, and we just had some kind of altercation, and then I'm going to the bottom gates at school, and there was about 20 guys waiting for me.
Was that quite frightening when you had to?
Yeah.
Sounds quite.
I ran away. I managed to run away.
Hey, do you think that was because of your race why they actually had to go at you? Or
you might. At first, I didn't think that because I thought this is just one guy. But as I got a little older, when I started to hear white boy and kuffer, and there's another word that I can't remember. It's an Arabic word, but it means white devil. And
that sounds like the Chinese what the Chinese used to say.
Well, kuffer's non-believer, so a Muslim could call any non-Muslim that. But it was bad. I remember even being at college when I was sat on a table with a few Asian girls. And then there was these guys in the library up above, and I just heard them all talking, and then one of them was like, "Oh, that white bastard," like that, and then one of them apologised. He was I just looked up, and I was like, "All right," and this guy's like, "Oh, sorry about the racism." He was apologising for his friend. But,
It's
what sort of names would you get called?
Well, just when I was in Basingstoke, this is how uneducated people who were racist were. They kept on calling me Packy. And it's just I haven't got even I didn't have a dot in the middle of my head or anything like that. And
that's Indian, but
Indian. But if you got if you're slightly tan, they'll call you that anyway. So
it's quite
they weren't. But it would be things like Packy and.
Do you think they realised they were being dumb
and stuff, or the N word? Because I know we're on Facebook Live here, so you've got to keep it calm.
But
it was.
Forgive my profanities before.
Yeah, I mean it's just little things like that. It can be quite annoying. It was really. The thing is with racism, it makes me burn with anger and rage.
I think it makes anyone, but I think that's normal.
Because it's something that you can't change. You can't change the colour of your skin. You shouldn't want to ever change the colour of your skin. But I think particularly if it's done by a group of people, it can make you feel quite isolated, and it can make you feel separate from. Yeah, those types of people. So
that was my feeling as well. It's just a separation thing. It's that you who are calling me these things, like I'm not accepted by you. And I think like this is the harsh reality, but for anyone who experiences racism, like I think you're kidding yourself if you think you're gonna get the approval of the people that are saying the nasty things to you. Like the people, when I say people, I'm not talking about all white people or all like any particular race of people, but if you think that particular that person that said that thing to you is ever gonna like you, like you're living in a dream world, and like you shouldn't want approval from those kind of people. Like the kind of people would say things. I ended up like as I got older, I got more defiant. I was like, if anyone says these kind of things to me, I don't want to be friends with that person. I don't, and I hate to say it, but it did get to the point where I had a lot of prejudice myself, because it got to the point where I just didn't trust Asians anymore. Because I just had so many, I could tell you a million different stories. And that's when I became a Christian when I was 19. I had this realization that Jesus forgave me. So I need to forgive these that did wrong to me. But the racism carried on until I was 23 and I moved away from Bradford. And what I could have made a decision. I remember I was at university. I still met people from Pakistani backgrounds and stuff, and I had to make a decision that I didn't experience racism after that necessarily. So I was like, am I gonna continue to kind of distrust this group of people, or am I gonna accept that there is good people in that community? And the truth is there was, and I made a good friend Naz that was in my football team. And so it's kind of it's just it's important like same for you, like it could get to the point where like you distrusted like white people, like you might have thought like, oh, I can't really stick with other colours because maybe I should stick to my own.
In which case I would have always been living in terror, because let's face it, I'm surrounded by them. I mean, I actually live with a white person as well. I don't think people like think about it necessarily as being racist. Like
sometimes it's copycat behaviour.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just tribal, and people aren't
it's
really
joke,
being hateful. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just people that are ignorant. Like people just some people. Like, I know a lot of white people like in Suffolk, for example, where we live now. If you go out into the countryside, like they don't know any black people. Like they don't like. I was living in Stowmarket for a year and a half.
If you're just tuning in and watching this now, we are talking about racism, so we're not just randomly posting stuff.
No, it's like when I was in Stowmarket, which is it's in Suffolk. It's a very rural part of England. There's a guy from like East London, and he was there, and he was talking about how he felt like a bit like an outsider here. And I was like, oh, I feel like an outsider too, because I come from like the north and I live here. And then this black guy walks past, right? And honestly, in Stowmarket, you don't see many black people at all. He walks past, and then my barber goes, "Oh, he's all right, him." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Didn't really think anything of it. He's like, "Yeah, he's not like all like into drugs and like gangs and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, I wasn't really thinking that, mate. Like, what are you saying?" He's like, "I didn't really think the guy was like hatefully like racist, but he was just like saying really like ignorant stuff."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And kind of stereotyping.
Yeah, I mean I think stereotypes are a massive thing as well. I think if you're watching this, don't ever give in to stereotypes.
Yeah.
Because
not all black people like hip hop music.
Yeah, I do personally. And nonetheless, there can be this persona that can be put on you. And I think that when you set free from Christ, you've got to realise who you are in Christ
21 hours.
and who the Bible says you are. And I think as Christians, like we're recording this. And that's what I'd focus on. The righteousness of God in Christ. God will never take away, your experiences of what you've been through, but He will strengthen you from those things. And I think, with like negative stereotypes, I've been a person who, I used to have stereotypes of other people as well. I used to think that all Indians used to smell, and because they cook with spices. But like since becoming a chef, and also a Christian, I've really got to sort of know, good Indian people that I'm friends with, and blah de blah. So so that was our video on racism.
It's a bit all over the place, but that's good.
Yeah,
it's organised.
We want to keep it authentic.
Shout out to Dan Daniel Batten.
Oh yeah, I've got a good story of.
Should we shout? I think we should shout out all these people, shall we?
Yeah.
Like you shout the ones on your.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks
Have a great week.
Leave your
Make the most
comments.
of your week, man.